string acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated bossa nova jazz ninth in bossa nova jazz ninth in bossa nova jazz bossa nova jazz bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a train. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a train. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic nylon string acoustic guitar performs gentle bossa nova jazz, and the sunset comes to my life and love feels light. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with you. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic two performs gentle syncopated. Bossa nova jazz with a promise of pain and light. With a promise of pain, the sunlight with your hands light. Bossa nova nova dress with the best dream puff daylight. Bossa nova dress with a golden winter night. Bossa nova dress with the many passing by. Bossa nova dress with a promise left to hide. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string, acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz. 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 Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string, acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated, ninth and suspended. Bossa nova jazz with the balance of the life I gonna see. The day is all I know is wrong, and the time goes by, and wondering what time to say goodbye. with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic guitar, bossa nova jazz with the mile days of going paces and night and time, and the bossa nova jazz with the people and lights. When the people are around and there's a little bit time, bossa nova jazz with the people and dreams. And there's another way, and the bossa nova. With the world of sight and Sunday, bossa nova jazz with the world of Sunday and bossa nova jazz. Get the strongest day with me in the crazy bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic, nylon string acoustic, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic, 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 bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with the smooth, bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic, bossa nova jazz with the smooth, bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with the plans about a nothing new. Bossa Nova jazz with a smile that I can't refuse to do. Bossa Nova jazz, now the plane is going through. Bossa Nova jazz, go, and the darkness comes and don't know. Bossa Nova jazz, and the present that they go. Bossa Nova jazz with the perfect Asian. Bossa Nova jazz, oh Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated. Bossa Nova jazz 9th in. Bossa Nova jazz 9th in. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a train. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a train. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with a dream. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a dream. Bossa Nova jazz, Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a dream. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic nylon string acoustic guitar performs gentle bossa nova jazz, and the sunset comes to my life and love feels light. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz with you. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz, bossa nova jazz, bossa bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic two performs gentle syncopated bossa nova jazz with a promise of pain and light. With a promise of pain, the sunlight with your hands light. Bossa nova jazz with the best dream puff daylight. Bossa nova jazz with a golden winter night. Bossa nova jazz with the many passing by. Bossa nova jazz with a promise left to hide. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa nova jazz. 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 Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic guitar performs gentle syncopated ninth and suspended. Bossa nova jazz with the balance of the life I gonna see. The day is all I know is wrong, and the time goes by. smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic guitar. Bossa Nova jazz with the Milan days of going paces and night and time. And the Bossa Nova jazz with the people and lights. When the people are around and there's a little bit time. Bossa Nova jazz with the people and dreams. And there's another way, and the Bossa Nova. With the world of sight and Sunday. Bossa Nova jazz with the world of Sunday and Bossa Nova jazz. Get the strongest day with me in the crazy Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Nylon string acoustic. Nylon string acoustic. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. 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 Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth. Bossa Nova jazz with a smooth and romantic. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth and romantic. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz. Bossa Nova jazz with the smooth and romantic atmosphere. nova jazz with a smooth and romantic atmosphere. Bossa nova jazz with the plans about a nothing new. Bossa nova jazz with a smile that I can't refuse to do. Bossa nova jazz, now the plane is going through. Bossa nova jazz, go, and the darkness comes and don't know. Bossa nova jazz, and the present that they go. Bossa nova jazz with the perfect Asian. Bossa nova jazz, oh bossa nova jazz, bossa nova.